About to play the tournament with Hody Jones. And what are you playing today?
What am I playing? The Flamingo.
The Flamingo. Alright. We'll see what disaster I just made for myself. Update soon. Still vlogging with the crazy hair. Guess what, guys? They won round one. Hody Jones versus Trafalgar Law. Wish me luck. Now waiting outside while it's hot in there. I just won my next round. I defeated Don Quixote do Flamingo pretty brutally, to be honest, and I think it was pretty good. So we possibly got a couple more rounds left. We'll see how Hody Jones does in the Treasure Cup. I'm going for the record for the Hody Jones' best placement ever. Let's go. What's up, Super Pirate Bros? My name's Dennis, and this is going to be recorded right before the Treasure Cup tournament. I'm going to be taking Hody Jones. It's going to be my second ever Treasure Cup that I'm joining, and I'm taking this guy. It's going to be a struggle, but it's going to be fun. So let's get right into the deck profile. And for those that don't know, Hody Jones is the cool fishman that I think is based off of Michael Jackson. I'm not sure because of the hat and the squiggly hair on his head. But he can rest himself to rest an opponent's Dawn or a character that costs 3 or less. And then you don't take life through your own effects. So that's what the deck is based on. You have very good options with your fishmen that can do powerful things, but they make you lose a life. So Hody Jones will make that a little bit more better because you're not going to be taking all the life right away with him. So let's look at what we're playing here. Up first we have our searcher. It's going to be Kami. Kami will search a fishman or a merfolk character other than herself, add it to the hand. She only searches 4, so unfortunately she's not as good as Nami or other cards that can search 5, but whatever, it's what we got. Next up we got Zio or Zo. This guy here is a 2K. I just like to use him mostly for that. But if you have nothing to play, it's not bad either. You just play him, and then the next turn he can attack while holding a Dawn. You get to restand one of your Dawns to just push for extra power. It's not bad, but again, he'll take a life out, so only do it if you're using your leader's effect. Or if the situation calls for going for game, you hit with the leader as well. Up next, we have Vander Decken. Vander Decken is pretty cool. He's like one of the characters in the game that actually says this, can KO any rested character. I've never seen something like that. All you have to do is trash a fishman or a Noah's Ark from your hand or field. So being able to KO anything rested is pretty crazy at a low cost of 2. Pretty nasty. You can surprise people with this. I really like it a lot. In fact, it works on killing really crazy big characters like even Useless Captain Kidd and stuff like that, because that thing comes out rested, which is pretty funny. Daruma. This guy's actually the best card in the whole deck, and he's only a 3-cost guy. Why? Because he holds a Dawn, and he gets to gain 1,000 power, and then he gets to restart himself as active. So he gets to attack twice, and when you load him up with a bunch of Dawn, that's pretty deadly. People haven't seen double attackers since set 1 with that guy. I think it was Hawkins. I think it was somebody like that used to attack twice, but nobody's ever seen it again. But Daruma, he can do that stuff again. He will win you games. You're going to try to protect him at all costs. Daruma. Up next, our other low cost, that's 3, is Dosen. Another low cost. He's not as good as Daruma, but he gains 2,000 power until the start of your next turn and cannot be killed by battle when he attacks. So that's pretty good. I may want to bump him up to more. We'll see how we go about that. But I got 1 Dosen in there. Another 3 cost. It's going to be Dracula Mihawk. This guy is very important for the deck. On top of being a 2K counter for the late game, if you see him then, in the beginning you want to see this guy in your early mulligans because he can play slash characters with a cost of 4 or less from your hands rested. So he cheats out some of your bigger guys that are really good in the deck, because you're pretty much playing 3 Dawn to play a 4-cost character, and then he can attack later on because he's already 4,000 power. You don't have to boost him by that much to get him to attack. So really good card, very important in the deck. I honestly, you wouldn't want to do without him. Up next, we got Hody and Hayozu. This card came from a weird set called Pirates Party. I don't know what that is either, but I ordered it online. And this card says, once per turn, you rest an opponent's character that costs 4 or less, and then he gains 1,000 power for the whole turn. So pretty good at just removing blockers for free. And then the 1,000 power boosts are pretty good. And again, this is one of the guys you can play right with Dracula Mihawk, which is pretty crazy, because he's already at 6,000 power. The next turn you get to boost him. If you do your leader's effect, you don't take a life. You're hitting 7 already. So I made room for 3 of him, only because he has no counter. And then what do we have here? Next up, we have good old Arlong. Arlong came in OP06 with the rest of these dudes. But on play, you can trash a card from your hand, and then up to your opponent's rested leader cannot attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. So pretty good, almost like as if you're freezing your opponent's leader, just to not let them attack. I found that it's really good against Dofi because he needs to use his effect. Well, his effect is when attacking. The same goes for Gecko Moria. It's pretty funny when you just deny them their ability to attack early on. It's pretty good. So Arlong, also 6,000 power, not bad. Oh, forgot to talk about his trigger. You just get to rest a 4 cost or less. That can come up. Next up, I got 2 of Hachan. Hachan is just a 1k counter for the most part, but if he comes out of trigger, it's not bad. You get to play your Dosen or the Daruma, which is pretty crazy. Then the next turn, they're ready to attack right away. Besides that, he's just a 4/5, attacker. He can be played out with Draco Mihawk if you don't see anything. And another character we'll go to later. Next up is this card here that I ordered online. This one was Jinbei. He's actually from the current Treasure Cup event pack. So I'll show you an alternative if you don't want to pay for this guy. But on play, he'll rest a 1 cost. That almost never comes up, but to me, he's just a really good 2k. And a decent body to play out. He's a strike character, so there's another character that plays him out instead, but 5,000 power is not bad. If you have nothing else to play, you can strike with Jinbei. This is who we're talking about that cheats out the smaller fisherman. It's Ikaros Much. Mr. Much over here, what he says is on play, you get to play a fishman from your hand that costs 4 or less. Then you add a life card, but again, you do your leaves effect so that you can avoid the downside. And then all the guys that I've showed you before can be played out with Ikaros Much, which that would be Hody and Hyozu, Arlong, Hachan, Dosen, Daruma, Vanderdecken, and Zio, and even Kami. So pretty much the whole cast of characters. Oh, I forgot Jinbei. That's another decent choice because he is 5,000 power. So I really like Ikaros Much. Pretty much floods your board up for you. It lets you have some kind of board presence early on because it's a 5-drop. The other 5-drop we play here is this new guy here that really helped the deck out so much from OP07. Is Fisher Tiger. This guy here has rush. It doesn't say it, but he can rush into characters. He just can't attack leaders when he plays. And then on play, you get to rest a 6 cost. That's nearly every single blocker in the game except for the new Hawkins. So you just rest anything you want, knock it out, because it is a 6,000 power guy. So Fisher Tiger, you're pretty much golden if you see either Fisher Tiger or Ikaros Much in your hand. You get a decent 5 cost play. Up next, I thought this guy fit in the deck really good. It's Trafalgar Law. Good old OP01 Law. It's a blocker, and then on play, you just get to do the switcheroo of characters by picking up a 3 cost or less. Then, well, you pick up anything, then play a 3 cost or less. So what's good about him, you get to pick up Draco Mihawk, because later early in the game, you want to get him back as a 2k. And then you could play something like Kami or any one of the smaller fishermen that have crazy good effects as well. And then you're left with a blocker. And he's the only blocker in the deck that I play, so sometimes you just need a blocker. Up next, this guy, we all love Hody Jones. People know him in other decks like Yamato and Bonnie, but he does the most work in this deck actually because your leader has the effect for you not to take the life. So when you play him, you just get to rest 2 things and then rush into him, which is pretty nasty. I love seeing this guy. This guy will definitely win you the games that you need. So you have to play 4 of Hody Jones. Such a beautiful card. Definitely need to play all 4 of him. Last up for my one last big drop that I play is going to be Doflamingo, the old 10 drop from OP4. So on play, you get to freeze 3 characters, including a leader. So you pretty much win the game after he gets played out. Most of the time, people really don't come back after that, especially if you're already sitting on something like a Daruma or another character. But pretty decent to play out. Your deck focuses on resting things, so if your opponent's things are rested, it's much better for you. Rest them with Doflamingo. The next turn, come back later, kill them with Vanderdecken or something like that. So it's pretty good. Up next, we have last 2 events that I play. Because we have so many non-counters in the deck, you can get stuck with Trafalgar Laws or Hody and Hyozus, or even a Dofi or a Hody Jones possibly. Arlong also. So you just discard them, make yourself a 3,000 counter. It's the last 2 cards that we play. And really quickly, let me go through some cards you might want to add. It's because in OP08, I don't really see much new things I'm going to add to it because there's nothing specific that'll help it. Maybe some of the carrot stuff we'll see. But if you don't want to buy the Pirates Party Hody and Hyozu, you can buy this guy, which is probably a penny or something. He came from OP06, and he's the same as the other guy, but he doesn't have the extra archetypes, and he doesn't have a slash and strike. So that's the difference between these cards. You see this one is slash and strike, which can come up in KOing Luffy's and stuff like that. No, I think it's Buggy. Buggy can't get KO'd by slash, or so that might come up. So yeah, this guy if you don't want to pay for the Pirate Party guy. And then if you don't want to pay for the Jinbei, we've got this guy here who's a 2K. He's just 1,000 power weaker. It's old Hachan from OP03. And he doesn't have a trigger effect here because your leader is not East Blue, so he does nothing. So Jinbei's a lot better than this. But that's the budget route. And maybe add another dozen, probably for a law, if you want. Last up, if you don't like the idea of Dofi, I've also tried this deck out with Roronoa Zoro, which works good too. If he survives, we all know you just win the game. So that's the deck profile. I'm going to be taking this deck to the tournament later today, and we'll see how we do. I'll update you guys right there. And yeah, full deck profile there. Oh, also, as far as matchups goes, I'm pretty sure we're going to be terrible against Rob Lucci. I already seen that on the sim. It just KOs everything we have. We have no setup. It's pretty hard, so we'll see what we get ourselves into. Law sounds pretty scary as well. The removal is too much. Bonnie seems very favorable to us because our leader can rest the opponent's Dawn, which is pretty good because that's all she wants to do is hold the Dawn up so that she gets to rest your guys for free. But Hody stops that, so that's pretty good. And yeah, that's all I can think of right now. But yeah, wish me luck. Alright guys, so Hody Jones failed me. I lost to Dofi on round 3, and then I lost to a Bonnie round 4. Very close games. But I got this out of an entry pack. So that's as far as we go. Thank you, Hody.